the Festival of Apprenticeships in partnership with BT Group, showcasing opportunities to future talent.
Hi everyone, it's great to be with you. So my name's Daisy, I'm the Careers Development Manager at WorldSkills UK, and I'm not going to be doing the talking today. I'm just here to introduce us and tell you who we are. I'm actually going to hand over to Daryl in just a minute, who's going to do all of the talking about being an apprentice and his apprenticeship journey and competition journey, and hopefully inspiring you to choose a STEM apprenticeship and to learn a bit more about what apprenticeships are and how they help you to have a successful career. So a bit more about who we are and what we do, and Skills for Security, is that at WorldSkills UK we believe technical education and apprenticeships are prestigious pathways and career routes for young people from all backgrounds. And we are an independent charity and partnership between employers, educators and governments, and we inspire young people, whatever their background, to choose apprenticeships and technical education. Skills for Security are the UK's largest fire and security apprenticeship training provider, with over 500 apprentices from Inverness to Plymouth and everywhere else in between. They've been focused on providing high quality and accessible training to give everyone entering the industry an opportunity to thrive within an exciting, driven sector, regardless of where they are in the country. And they're so good at what they do, they recently won an award for being an incredible apprenticeship provider. So I'm sure Darryl will mention this, but they've got live opportunities, and if you want to find out more, then please come and speak to Darryl afterwards. So without further ado, I'll hand over to the expert from here and enjoy.
Cheers, Daisy. Thank you. I'll take a mic. I'll probably walk about anyway.
Enjoy.
Awesome. Not decided yet if I walk about the stage or I stand in the plinth. So, hi all. Apologies in advance for the accent. I do understand that this might be a bit difficult for you to understand me, but I will try be as loquacious and pronunciated as possible. So, I am Daryl Gilmore. I'm the Technical Director here at Skills for Security. Now, my job function and my role deals a lot with the curriculum build. I'll get into a bit about how my career progression has came full circle almost. Now, a little bit of background about me before I get into it in more detail is 14 years ago I entered the sector with the idea of being an architect or a structural engineer was what I wanted to be when I was still in school. Now, the idea of another 7 years in education, 7 years at university, plus all of the fees, was a bit of a daunting thought. And I fell into the fire and security sector by accident, and I started a Skills for Security fire and security apprenticeship back 14 years ago. And it's now nice to come full circle that I'm now part of the senior management team at Skills for Security, helping drive that change and input back into the sector, some of the issues that I had, the challenges I had, and also highlighting the benefits. Now, a little bit of an overview just of who Skills for Security are. Daisy gave me a fantastic introduction there. We are the largest fire and security based training provider in the whole of the UK. We have training centres, 2 in Scotland, 1 in Warrington, a large centre that we're ready to move out of into a larger premises in Birmingham, and then we also have our flagship centre in Watford in London. Now, this has been a very quick journey for Skills. The company itself has been around for 15 years, but Skills for Security have only started to thrive in the last 3 or 4 years with the appointment of my colleague that I've known for the last 15 years, who's now our managing director. And he's really put his own passion and his own experience as a previous Skills for Security apprentice and from the industry himself, has tried to really drive the changes within the sector, and it's clearly happened. So, our main offering from Skills for Security are, as it says in the name, as a security-based technician apprenticeship. Now, it's not the only one that we deliver. We also have apprenticeships within business administration, customer service at multiple levels. We also deliver other apprenticeships within team leadership and supervisor apprenticeships and operational and departmental manager apprenticeships. So anything that you guys potentially want, we have and can support having that offer and having those links with sector and industry. Now, a little bit of information just on what fire and security is, and this is the reason why that we've partnered with WorldSkills to come to these events to try and give a bit more information on what the fire and security sector is. Now, I'd love to see a show of hands. How many people in here actually knew before listening to me speak what a fire and security technician was? Does anybody in here know what fire and security is? Stick your hand up if you know. Now, that there is the issue that we've been facing for the last 15 years in our sector. In comparison, go and stick your hand up if you know what a plumber is. Go and keep your hand up if you know what an electrician is. Keep your hand up if you know what a gas engineer or heating engineer is. Now, all of these apprenticeships are at the same level. They're a level 3 technical apprenticeship. And what we do is quite a unique area of the market, especially in engineering and electronic engineering, where we sit in between that electrician and the data experts. Now, what we do on a day-to-day basis as an apprentice engineer, we could be doing anything from a domestic installation where there may be some smoke alarms fitted within a house, some CCTV systems, or an alarm that you set and unset when you leave to go to work. Now, that is our lower level of what this sector does. Anything up to what we're looking at is multi-building integration, where the systems that we fit drive how that building works, operates and changes, especially with legislation coming out with being more economical, meeting ESG targets. What our systems will start to do is the badges that people have around their neck when they badge in the front door, that will then pull information from the database to say, oh, Daryl's on site, Daryl's vegetarian, Daryl can't have cheese. So the catering services now understand that they need to supply something for my needs. But even more so, I then badge into a 16-storey building in the middle of London on a Sunday because I'm sad and I don't have a life. But I'll badge in there on a Sunday. And again, from that same database that we set up, it can pull, okay, to meet that economical target, let's only turn the lights on in the foyer. Let's only enable one lift because there's not many people in the building. And then let's only turn on the areas of that 16th floor where Daryl operates and works. The rest of the building can maintain off. The air conditioning isn't turned on and the lightings are turned off. And all of this stems from the integration purposes or the integration protocols that we do and we fit as part of our systems. Now, for those that are interested within IT, those that are interested within cyber, this can be a very good transfer of skills. For those that have been doing IT courses, for those that have been interested in technology, this is where we sit. Now, our apprenticeship is a 3-year based programme. Now, we deliver that in our local centres. For here, our closest centre is in Warsaw. We've had great success in Birmingham in the last couple of years and do think it's a thriving area for our sector. On top of that, we also have 57 open vacancies within Birmingham of companies desperately needing young people, young, talented, enthusiastic people to join their businesses. Now, so if anybody is in the process of leaving school or is leaving school in the upcoming months or even next year, come and see me. I'm just underneath the stairs. Come and get some cards. Come and get some information. Our employers are desperate for young candidates to come in. So finding a job is very straightforward and finding a place for delivering of that education should be relatively easy. Now, enough about what our apprenticeship offerings are. It's not the skills show as much as I would love it to be. Now, looking at my journey and why I am so enthusiastic about apprenticeships, because I was one back in 2010. Now, I left school thinking I want to be X, Y and Z. I want to go down the university pathway and become a professional. And I didn't think I could achieve that then other than going to university. Now, I fell into this sector, as I've mentioned. This sector has been fantastic to me. I hated it at the start. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was getting up to go to work and I wasn't too sure on what my end goal was going to be or what career I could see out of this. Now, leaving that and starting as a Skills for Security apprentice in Glasgow, it opened my mind up to what this sector actually has, what it can offer. And because it's such a air quote, new sector, 30 years, 40 years old, there is so much potential and growth still to happen in this sector. And there's also a fantastic amount of innovation and technology advancements that makes this sector even more interesting. Now, throughout my apprenticeship, I came back and forth, had certain challenges, certain issues that mainly stemmed from not knowing what this sector was, or that bit more of a disheartening feeling that I didn't go down the route of a university pathway. That has now since changed. 14 years in this sector. The idea of going down an apprenticeship, I would promote that more or firstly than over any other educational pathway. Now that is just my experience, but the idea that you are able to earn while you learn, get that on-the-job experience, apply what you've learned in the previous week at college live in your workplace is an invaluable means of being able to learn. Okay, so anybody that has been unsure whether they want to go down the route of an apprenticeship, it's certainly something that's, okay, not fit for purpose for everybody, but certainly an avenue that allows you that experience whilst you are learning. Now, where am I now? My movement, following my apprenticeship, I fell into a bit more of an IT role within the fire and security sector. I was dealing with setting up analytics, I was dealing with setting up networks and communication to allow back and forth comms with external premises. Now, that quickly put me into contact with other industry leaders and other business people within the sector, and it led me into education. Now, from apprentice to a commission engineer to a sales and design solution engineer was what I'd done for the best part of 8 years. And I know over the last 6 years, I've fell into the education side of this sector, and it's been fantastic. And it's opened my eyes up even more so to the possibilities within this industry as a whole. Whether you want to be desk-based or PC-based, that's something that can be achieved through the fire and security sector. Whether you want to be a practical engineer and really start to make differences and apply yourself and carry out on-the-job tasks, that's also something that's able to be done through this sector. But also, none of that would have been achievable if I went to university and then fighting tooth and nail with a debt over my head to try and get myself into a job that I loved. Now, I mentioned a few of these already, so I'll not take up too much more of your time. But the challenges that I see apprentices coming through and facing when they come into this sector is the same rinse and repeat as what I had. People get disheartened because they didn't know what the sector was. People are coming in because they fell in through nepotism, because their dad has done it, their sister's done it, their brother, their auntie, their uncle have all been part or known someone that's been in this industry. We want to change that. I think the message of apprenticeships being a solution to a career is something that we've been very, very passionate about, and it is the business model that we have. The benefits that you can really bring from an apprenticeship can vary. Now, if you're someone that is academic, may still be a decision you go down an academic route, but there is also integrated degree level apprenticeships that you can carry out. Don't think that it's a one size fits all and we have to go to uni or we have to do a practical apprenticeship like an electrician. One thing that has been evident over the last couple of years is that apprenticeships have been applied into every single sector and every area of every business. Whether you want to be a civil engineer, whether you now want to be an architect like I did, there's now an apprenticeship progression path for that. Whether you want to go down into mechanical, sales, design, admin, business, all of these have apprenticeship progression pathways. And as I mentioned before, being able to earn while you learn, guarantee yourself a job and get yourself into a sector that you enjoy is invaluable. So, competition cycle, and this is something I have worn around my neck for the last 14 years, and it's a badge of honour, and it's served me very well. For anybody that gets into an apprenticeship, especially through WorldSkills, WorldSkills are a competition, international competition organiser, and we've been great. We've been thankful enough to be involved with WorldSkills since 2019 as a competition organising partner. Now, that doesn't mean much to you guys, but what it does allow is us to elevate and give platforms to certain industries. And one thing that I always come back to, especially on the competition angle of it, is there's a competition for everything. We ran our first competition for security systems in 2019 at the NEC. And I couldn't believe just how many different apprenticeships were available within every industry. For example, there was a forensic science apprenticeship competition. Never knew that was anything in existence. A forensic science apprenticeship competition where they had set up a planter, they'd set up a marquee, and they had a remit that they had to dig out a skeleton, rearrange it on a white mat, and identify the cause of death. Now, All of that is an apprenticeship route, and all of that being promoted through WorldSkills. So if anybody hasn't been to see them on their table or been on their website, it's a really good way of getting a bit more of an idea of what apprenticeships are actually out there. Now, the competition cycle for me, unfortunately, we had an apprentice that has been a past winner that was due to be on stage with me today. Unfortunately, I think the nerves got to him and pulled out yesterday morning. Now, he won WorldSkills 2 years ago. And ever since, his progression route is elevated exponentially with finishing his apprenticeship, using that competition experience and that awareness of being involved in that competition cycle. The individual is now 5 years in the sector and is now an operations manager within the business that he worked for as an apprentice. So using that competition platform as an apprentice really elevated his position in the company, allowed him to apply that to his CV, and allows him an endless possibilities of resources. And exactly the same for myself. I won my Engineers of Tomorrow Apprentice of the Year competition back in 2013, and ever since I've spoke about it at any chance I possibly could, because it's a fantastic thing to be. But that's also been the leading point of every single time that I've spoke in an interview, during an employer, whatever time, any chance, even if nobody's asking me to talk about it, I'll talk about I won back in 2013. But that there alone has been something that's really lifted my career, going from an apprentice to the technical director of a national training provider, which has been a fantastic opportunity and a fantastic journey for me. So, how can we get involved? And this is the bit that I think you're all here for. It's always difficult for people to try and identify where they can get started with entering a sector. One thing that we do quite well at Skills for Security is we've got an internal talent acquisition specialist and a full team around our recruitment. Now, we have fantastic relationships with industry-leading bodies and industry-leading manufacturers and companies who have currently, at the moment, across the UK, got 97 open vacancies between Manchester and Plymouth. So anybody that is looking to get some more information on what's available, where those open vacancies are, the easiest thing is contact myself, contact our team. I've got the card over there on my table. More than happy to talk through anything that you need. If you're a bit shy, like I used to be, on our website, we have got helpful and useful resources. Under our apprenticeship tab, we've got a vacancy finder. Now, this little interactive map, zoom in, zoom out, driven by Google Maps. But each of these little points have got an associated open vacancy. Whether it's a company like Mighty, who are looking for 20 apprentices in the Birmingham area. Now, Mighty are a huge, they're one of the top 10 largest companies in the whole of the UK, and they're a facilities management company. And within a big business like that, starting as an apprentice in fire and security doesn't mean that you have to stay as an apprentice in fire and security. It means you can go into their data, their facilities management team, their building and construction teams, anything that might be part of that business. And again, as I mentioned, there's 20 apprentices that they're currently and actively looking for within the UK. So any additional information on that, please let me know. Now, over and above that, if anybody is looking for a particular apprenticeship, whether it's business, whether it's customer service, and we don't have anything listed, that's not to say there isn't one there. If you go onto our website, skillsforsecurity.com, there is also an inquiry form. I think it's under as apply now. Now, that you're not applying for anything, don't worry. We're not going to steal your credit card details or your home address. But what that effectively is a little data capture form. What you're interested in and how can we help in the area that you are located. Get in contact with us, fill that inquiry form in, and we can get back in contact with you to find out any open vacancies, stick you on our mailing list, and give you any information and resources that you or anybody else that you know needs to be able to enter an apprenticeship or into the fire and security sector. Now, I'm going to stop talking, and if there is any questions, I don't know what we're looking at time, I've probably overran. Does anybody have anything at this time? Anything long-winded, I will pay you and we'll talk over at the table. But does anybody have any questions on that? No? Lovely. Thanks very much for your time, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the event. Cheers all.
The Festival of Apprenticeships in partnership with BT Group, showcasing opportunities to future talent.